Module 4, Financial and Performance Management for the Front Office. Lesson 4.5, Aligning Financial Goals with Guest Experience. The front lines of hospitality operate in a constant state of chaotic, emotional energy. As managers, there's a natural desire to harness that energy, to create spontaneous, magical moments that cater to a traveler's every whim. Compare that to the strict, analytical reality of the back office. Down in the boardroom, success is measured with cold precision by balance sheets, hotel occupancy percentages, and margin requirements. This sharp contrast creates one of the most pervasive misconceptions in the industry: the idea that the emotional view of service and the analytical demands of profit are inherently opposed to one another. But at the highest levels of management, that conflict disappears. Real hospitality leaders view financial health and emotional connection as deeply collaborative partners. Every decision made at the front desk sends a ripple through both the guest's memory and the owner's bank account. Understanding this relationship is how a hotel achieves the sustained performance required to stay relevant in a crowded market. This model illustrates the service profit chain. It serves as the operating system of modern hotel management, mapping out the direct, linear relationship between internal culture and external financial success. The sequence begins with staff. Supported and well-trained employees operate with genuine belief in the brand. That authentic warmth creates a high-trust environment where visitors feel a distinct sense of belonging, driving them to return. Financially, a loyal, returning customer is superior to a one-time visitor. Repeat guests carry a lower acquisition cost and spend more on premium services. That predictable premium revenue is then utilized to fund advanced training programs and increase wages. Because each link actively strengthens the next, treating operations as a closed-loop system is the only reliable method for compounding both talent and profit simultaneously. In times of severe economic contraction, managers face immense pressure to protect their margins at all costs. While fiscal responsibility is necessary, there is a dangerous tipping point where legitimate budgeting devolves into destructive cost slashing. Managers often implement crude austerity measures, like running the front desk on a skeleton crew or downgrading to low-quality linens, just to secure immediate savings. The consequences of these cuts are delayed. Alienated guests take their frustration to online review platforms, where their feedback actively prevents other travelers from booking. The correct alternative to raw austerity is strategic efficiency. This requires finding highly specific ways to do more with less without ever degrading the final product. For example, a manager might cross-train their staff. Combining a front desk agent with basic concierge duties provides a seamless, single point of contact experience for the traveler. Implementing automated data entry technology, such as mobile room keys or check-in kiosks, serves a similar purpose. It redirects human labor away from tedious keystrokes and toward high-value interactions that require genuine empathy and problem-solving. By investing heavily in workforce skill and targeted automation, a hotel eradicates the hidden financial costs of incompetence, all without compromising the guest's perception of luxury. To effectively manage this equilibrium, a leader must measure both sides of the equation. Relying exclusively on financial data provides a dangerously incomplete picture. This dashboard tracks standard money KPIs on the left. We can see a rising bar chart mapping out the average daily rate, revenue per available room, and gross operating profit. However, those impressive financial figures can be deceptive. A property might achieve a high daily rate by overcharging for a deteriorating product. On the right, tracking service KPIs shows the exact cost. The room complaint ratio is spiking aggressively upward. The inevitable outcome of this scenario is severe. Once the brand's true reputation catches up to its inflated pricing, the gross operating profit collapses entirely. This is why metrics like the Guest Satisfaction Index and specific complaint ratios are vital. They function as direct behavioral windows into the guest's mindset. Among these, the repeat guest ratio is the ultimate diagnostic metric. A high volume of returning visitors is the definitive proof that the hotel's value proposition is sound. Because service KPIs expose operational rot long before it ever impacts the balance sheet, parallel tracking is the only proven way to safeguard a brand's long-term market relevance. Tracking these dual metrics also forces a shift in how the lobby itself is categorized. The front desk must be managed as an active revenue center. To optimize it, staff must be trained in ethical upselling. This is never about predatory extraction. It is the practice of perfectly matching a specific guest pain point with existing hotel inventory. This decision tree illustrates a typical interaction. On path A, a family checks in. Pitching a suite upgrade directly resolves their spatial friction, making their stay highly comfortable while simultaneously boosting the hotel's average daily rate. On path B, we have a business traveler. Offering a late checkout fee aligns perfectly with an evening flight schedule. Both paths result in high margin revenue through a mutual win-win transaction. When upselling effectively relieves guest friction, the transaction instantly injects cash into the profit and loss statement, while actively increasing the guest's trust in the brand. Ultimately, the day-to-day survival of any hotel relies entirely on the long-term vision of its executive leadership. A successful operation communicates prosperity quietly. True luxury is found in impeccable operational flow and the sharp professionalism of the team, never in superficial displays of wealth. To maintain that flow, a manager must navigate two failure conditions. First, any operational decision that delights the guest but bankrupts the balance sheet is a failure of management. Second, any operational change that aggressively spikes short-term profit but alienates the core demographic is a failure of hospitality. Avoiding these outcomes requires a very specific dual skill set: the emotional intelligence to stand in the lobby and read the room, combined with the hard financial literacy to dissect the spreadsheets. It comes down to one foundational relationship. Profit serves as the vital fuel that allows exceptional service to exist, while service acts as the high-performance engine that actually generates the profit. By flawlessly balancing the demands of the guest with the strict requirements of the ledger, a manager builds an institution capable of surviving any economic climate, while retaining absolute, unwavering customer loyalty.